Welcome into Huddle Talking Elizabethton Cyclone football. Head coach Shawn Witten again another week talking about the orange and black, getting ready for the playoffs, which is an exciting time here in Elizabethton. We're heading down the road to battle a very good Knox Catholic team. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. And coach, let's go back to last Thursday night. An electric atmosphere. I mean, Solomon South had a full house. Cyclones had a full house. The tradition playing possibly on the last time on this field. I mean, all the makings. The script was there for a fantastic finish, and the fans were treated a heck of a football game.
Yeah, it was. It was a great game all the way to the end, and congratulate South on a great game plan. The kids played hard. I thought our kids really executed our game plan the way we wanted it. You know, South had been a scoring machine and been throwing the ball down the field, and we kind of backed our defense off a little bit to make them throw the short stuff. And I thought our kids played extremely hard. I thought our defensive line got pressure on the quarterback when we needed to. I thought we shut down the running back when he had some runs. But I thought we got off to a great start offensively. You know, we moved the ball down the field the first drive. We turned it over on downs. But I thought that we were able to establish the running game with Ethan and Jones. And, unfortunately, the second half just kind of didn't go our way.
You talked last week on our show about how crafty Caleb Armstrong was. And, of course, this is the first time I got a chance to see him this year, obviously. And he indeed is a crafty, very heady player and shows a lot of poise back there.
He does. You know, we try to get him involved in the running game, get him on the edge. And, we had some other plays, opportunities that we just didn't, take advantage of. You know, we knew that they were going to pack the box and get some man-to-man opportunities. We thought we could, we took two shots in the second half late. Deep balls, but we saw the running back there kind of banged his shoulder up, so we wanted to kind of go at him there. But, we field position critical in the second half. You know, we started on our own 2 once. We started on our own 12. We put ourselves in some long situations on third down. But, we're a style offense and a style team that if we can keep it down and distance in our favor, it helps us out tremendously.
Tough loss, but let me guess, the sun came up last Saturday morning in Elizabethton, and life goes on. You get ready for the playoffs now, right?
Well, it does. I mean, you got no time to really swallow, especially, that's the great thing about last week's game is there's so much at stake, not only just conference championship, but seed, the ability to play at home, versus going on the road. And, there's a lot of games last week that were for conference championships, So we were fortunate enough, that, we got a team this week that kind of had the same situation, for the conference championship against Alcoa. They ended up getting beat. They fall to a 4 seed. And so, we feel that there's a lot of things that are very similar going into this week's game.
We come back. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you had a chance to watch a guy. I've heard about him. Of course, I saw him last year, the 28-27 win in Colonial Heights. But for my money, the guy's gotten bigger. He's certainly gotten better. We're going to take a break, come back, and talk about a young man who's in top 10. I'm going to use the stats of my buddy Doug Fritz, the John City Press, done some research about Ethan Thomas. This guy is the deal. And you get a chance to see a run that's it's one of those Sunday afternoon runs you'd see on ESPN. This kid is the real deal. Obviously, you know that, but he's going to show you that after this break. We'll come back with some highlights. We're talking Elizabethton Cyclone football with head coach Shawn Witten. You're in the huddle with Cyclone football.
Truck Month is back, and the savings are bigger and better than ever at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. New 2014 Silverado 1500 All-Star double cabs and crew cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 1500 double cab 4x4, $30,420. 1500 crew cab 4x4, $32,905. 1500 regular cab 4x2, $18,995. We have a selection of over 150 new Silverados to choose from, so hurry in for the $10,000 off MSRP, and you will be asking, how do they do that? Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
Wake up to a new, better breakfast. It's Golden Corral's tastier than ever ultimate weekend breakfast buffet. For one low price, it's our new buttermilk pancakes, bacon, sausage, signature omelets, and more. Juice included. It's a better breakfast, and it's only at Golden Corral.
Back in the huddle talking, again, Elizabethton Cyclone football head coach Shawn Witten. Coach, you talked about him. Everybody's seen him. I got a chance to see him firsthand last Thursday night. This kid's special, I guess is about as simple as you can put it. He knows what he's doing out there on that field. As you told us, he's a quiet, unassuming young man, but his numbers and his leadership speaks for itself. We're talking about Ethan Thomas, number 28. This kid's the real deal.
Well, we're fortunate. We've been having, he's been a very productive player for us. The thing I've always said great about him, Tom, is that he always shows up in the big games. All the big games, Science Hill, South games, the playoff games, over 200 yards. He had 17 carries, over 200 yards. Probably didn't give him the ball enough in the second half. We kind of got behind there a little bit, some down and distance situations. But I'm telling you, this kid comes to work every day. I think everybody in Elizabethton could go on and on. Our coaching staff could go on and on about this kid. I mean, he is, like you said, he's the real deal.
Let's pick up the first highlight. In the first quarter, trailing 7-0, and Ethan Thomas takes off on a scamper of 52 yards. This is a thing of beauty, and Coach set this up for us. Would you please?
Well, we started out the game trying to spread them out. Then the next couple series, we went to our two tight end package. We actually went to an unbalanced formation, got him going on the edge. And, Ethan does the rest. He makes a play caller, which is me, really good because he does a lot of great things after he touches the ball. But, we've been fortunate. Our line's been very consistent this year. They do a lot of the dirty work, and, Ethan did a great job breaking some tackles, hitting open field, and once he gets out, that's the thing that I like how he's improved a whole lot is once he gets out in the open, he's going to take it to the house.
We're talking to head coach Shawn Witten, Cyclone Football. You're in the huddle. I'm your host, Tom Taylor, and again, love coming over here and talking about the orange and black each week. Coach, the second touchdown. Tell you what, this kid runs hard, too. He's coming back next year. You got him back for another year. Caleb Jones, he had a 41-yard touchdown. That guy, he turned that corner. He turned on the Jets.
Well, he's a great change of pace for us. He runs a lot like Ethan. He's got a lot of the same plays that he can get involved with. We struggle at times trying to find ways to get him more involved. When you got a guy like Ethan, you don't really want to take off the field. He's a guy, last week, 2 weeks ago against Irwin, he was hobbled by an ankle injury. He was slow to go this week. So, we wanted to try to get him, 5 to 10 touches, and, man, he really did come through for us.
Big time. Got the big 41-yard run, as you just saw. And, again, the last touchdown of the night, we go back to number 28 again, a 64-yard run in the second period. Once again, it's one of those highlight reels, and again, to set this play up for us.
Well, we tried to do a good job of mixing and matching. Our spread sets worked a lot better for us. This was actually we pulled a lineman out in front of him. We kind of blocked down, pulled around, and got our lineman onto some of the secondary guys there, and we were able to get him the distance. And 21 points was for us is kind of not where we needed to be, and what we've been doing all year long. So we're glad to have a guy like Ethan, and he really did his part on Thursday night.
Absolutely. Let me give you some numbers. Again, I want to give credit to Doug Fritz from the Johnson City Press. In fact, I'll read it right out of the paper. He did some research, so it's not fair of me not to give him because he did the homework on it. But, again, most rushing yards in a career. Ethan Thomas now 9th ever in the state of Tennessee with I know my glass is 6,368. I believe that's what it says. Most touchdowns in a career. He's currently 9th. He has 79 touchdowns. There's the next guy up who played at Camden in 2008 with 82, so he's on track to break that. Again, he's in top 10. He's currently 9th. Two other categories. Coach, consecutive 100-yard rushing games. Ethan's got 17. The next gentleman up on the all-time has 18 from Warren County. And then the career 100-yard rushing games, Ethan Thomas, second all-time only to Joe Longmire from Brewston, Tennessee, who did it back in 1995. So as the old, you probably don't remember this television show, Dragnet, where the old boy used to say, "Just the facts, ma'am." Well, this is just the facts. This guy's one of the all-time greats.
Well, he's extremely productive. He works hard every day. He's become a complete running back, inside, outside game. He kind of can do it all. He's a power back. We can spread people out. He becomes a spread back. We started the game getting in some motion situations to try to get him to the edge. So, against Unicoi, he ran 2 traps up the middle. So he's really kind of tough to defend because he can run the ball inside and out.
I've become a cheerleader for Ethan Thomas. I hope somebody's smart enough on the college ranks to pick this kid up. He's certainly got the grades academically. He's got the God-given talent. So I'd like, hopefully someday, somewhere, or not someday, but somewhere next season, see him playing on Saturday.
Oh, there's no doubt he's going to make somebody a great football player. And his body and his frame, I mean, he can really develop into a 225-pound back, 230-pound back. So, a lot of times, he can be a downhill running back. He can go side to side, and I'll tell you, he's going to be a steal for somebody next year.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the defense for just a second. Again, we're talking to Coach Witten, again, in the huddle, talking Cyclone football. South came in last week averaging over 40 points a game. You held them to 28. Who were some of the kids that you were proud of that stepped up defensively?
Well, I thought all year long there was a lot of question marks about our secondary. We gave up 35 points in first quarter against Science Hill, and South wanted to throw the ball down the field, and they had, 4 great receivers, and Wiggers is good at throwing the ball down the field as he could. But I thought our secondary really answered the bell. We didn't allow a deep pass play. We made them throw it underneath. Christian Glover, Drew Bowers, Marcus Olds, Austin DePue really did a great job. And then 2 guys are outside linebackers. Probably had the toughest task all week long was, and especially Thursday night was is Jeremiah Turner, number 7, and Garrett Church, number 23. You're kind of in a position where do you play the run? Do you play the pass? And I thought those 2 guys did extremely well for us.
Yeah, Church got his name called a lot the other night. So did Jeremiah Turner. Being around this gentleman here, he's an optimist, no question. He's a positive thinker, Coach Witten. And so you lose this tough game, Three Rivers Conference Championship, but I know you're an optimist. What did you take out of the ball game positive to get you ready for this week?
Well, I really thought our kids executed our game plan. I really thought defensively, we wanted them to throw the ball underneath. We tackled better than we had all year. I know that Wigger got some yards there late, but we really did execute what we wanted to do. We didn't give up the game kind of was, it kind of was reversed a little bit. They were kind of the fast scoring team. Like you said, they had averaging 40 points a game, but we were the kind of team that wanted to kind of ground it out, put some drives together, time of possession, but it was kind of flip-flop. They were the team that, we made them line up and play. We didn't give up any fast scores. Ethan scored on 2 plays. One time he scored on 6 plays. So, the time of possession, first downs, went to them. But I really thought our kids really played hard. I thought that, like I said, our defensively, they got some stops, and gave us a chance to, ultimately, a game like that's going to come down to the end. We told our kids all week long it could be more than a 48-minute game. Hopefully getting in overtime. But I really thought our kids did a great job. And then, we punted it to them on the last drive there, 7.5 minutes to go. We had to use our timeouts, and, they just did a good job executing, getting first downs.
As a result, the Cyclones finish 8-2 in the regular season, and as a result of their hard work, they're heading off to the playoffs. And we'll take a break, come back, and we'll get a scouting report as they head down the highway to play Knox Catholic. Elizabethton 8-2, Catholic 9-1. We'll talk to Coach Witten about that right after this. We're talking Cyclone football, and you're in the huddle.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back at Elizabethton High School talking Cyclone football with head coach Shawn Witten. Again, the quadrant for the 4A playoffs goes as follows. It's going to be Knox, Fulton, and Scott County, Elizabethton, Knox Catholic. Then you have Knox, Carter, Greenville, and then Sullivan South and Sullivan East. So, Coach, you head to the highway. Knox Catholic, 9-1. As you said earlier in the show, they lost a heartbreaker to Alcoa last week for the conference championship. So, you head down there. What's the scouting report on Knox Catholic?
Well, it definitely is going to be a tough challenge, Tom. I mean, it's a very talented football team. A lot of their explosive players are sophomores. It does help us the fact that we just got through playing South. They're a very passive oriented team, very finesse offense. The thing for us is the scouting report. Quarterback's a good kid, throws the ball down the field. Their playmakers, Amari Rogers, number 3, from a slot receiver to the tailback. But defensively is where there's a strong point. Very solid defensively, swarm the football, tackle extremely well. So we're going to have to do a good job. I mean, I think our game plan going to this is we're going to have to get Ethan and Jones as many carries as we can. Kind of take the approach like Alcoa does, ground and pound it. Their offense a little bit over the last couple of weeks is sometimes very streaky. They're not a heavy running the football team. They kind of want to finesse, get the ball outside, throw a lot of screens, but definitely is going to be a big challenge. I mean, they're very talented, but hopefully we can catch them at the right time.
the trademark of Elizabethton Cyclone football, and you're a big part of this, is they're gritty and they're fighters, and so they're going to get down there Friday night and they're going to lay it out there for you. And you've got that weapon back that nobody else has. It's number 28.
Well, it's been tough our mentality. I mean, mentally we got to get better, get ready to go. Monday and Tuesday was a little sluggish. I mean, guys were frustrated still, and we emptied our hearts out there. But this is the second part of the season. This is what you worked so hard for the 10 weeks, and we're set up in a perfect position. We're playing that underdog role for probably the first time in several weeks. So we're excited about the opportunity, get a chance to go down the road, showcase what our program's about. And so we feel that we got a great game plan. We feel our kids are going to be ready to go, and we know at the end of the day our kids are going to fight.
Have you had any phone calls from Dallas? A little encouraging phone call from anybody out there?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always, you try to find those resources where always putting a positive word in, and people just they hear my voice, they hear some of the coaches' voice, but you want to get that positive, people that've been in those situations, and when your backs are against the wall and you got to go out there and you got to fight. But yeah, I mean, he constantly is calling our team and giving us what our message should be throughout the week about, he hears a lot with their coaching staff and the challenges they have weekly, and so, but I mean, eventually, if you're a higher seed, you may get a little better matchup round one, but eventually you're going to have to go through some of the powerhouses to get there. So it's exciting for us. I mean, we're playing a team we've never played before, unfamiliar territory, so it's going to be a great experience for us.
Go get us a win, bring
All
back
right,
Elizabeth.
appreciate it.
All right?
Thank you.
Yep. Head coach Shawn Witten, appreciate him very much. This is a class guy here. I like to go to war with him. He's a good one. And this one back here, he's not too shabby either. Hey, we appreciate you very, very much. Again, we'll take a break, come right back, and when we do, we're going to switch from football to that bouncing thing. Coach Honeycutt from the Elizabethton Cyclone basketball team will give us a preview. Come back, and we'll talk more Elizabethton Cyclone sports in the huddle.
Trunk month is back and the savings are bigger and better than ever at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. New 2014 Silverado 1500 All-Star double cabs and crew cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 1500 double cab 4x4, $30,420. 1500 crew cab 4x4, $32,905. 1500 regular cab 4x2, $18,995. We have a selection of over 150 new Silverados to choose from, so hurry in for the $10,000 off MSRP, and you will be asking, how do they do that? Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City.
Back into the huddle, shifting from football. Coach Witten, again, good luck to the Cyclones Friday night down in Knoxville, the Battle of Knox Catholic. And we switch from that. Of course, we're right on the brink of basketball starting, and we know that Northeast Tennessee is a hotbed for basketball. And one of the guys that's going to have a good team this year, right here in Elizabethton, Coach Lucas Honeycutt. And Coach, thanks for stopping by and talking to us. This is our first of many visits, and I know you're very excited about the season coming up.
Oh yeah, real excited to get back at it. Feels like it's been 2 or 3 years since we've been on the court, so it'd be nice to get back into it.
Yeah, this is your third year. Tell us, kind of refresh our memory from last year. What was your all's record, and how far did the Cyclones go in postseason?
I think we were actually 25-9, which was one more loss than what we had the year before. So we won 50 games in those last 2 years. Got beat by a good Greenville team in the second round of the region, which was an elimination game. They ended up going to the Final Four in the state. So kind of a heartbreaker there. We thought we could do a little bit better, but had a good season. Wasn't real sure how things were going to play out at the beginning of the season, but the kids really overachieved last year, and we had a lot of success, and thankful for that.
Yeah, so what was the difference? You said going into the season, didn't know where we were going to go, and this kid stepped up and obviously delivered for you.
Oh, we had great talent the first year I was here. I mean, just a lot of superior skill, great shooters and that kind of thing. And last year we lacked a lot of outside threats, and we just we didn't know who our scorers were going to be. We ended up relying on 2 kids for the bulk of our scoring, but some kids came along as the season went on, and I think that really helped put us in a position to win a lot of games.
Went 25-9. So how many of those kids are back this year for this year's edition of Cyclone Boys Basketball?
Well, we're actually going to have 3 starters back, but we had some kids that started here and there. But 3 guys that remain starters that come back on the floor. Tyler Nichols, of course, he was an all-conference player last year. Bo Pless, who really came on for us there last year. grown a lot. He's 6'4", 6'5". I think he's still growing right now as we speak. And Austin Cornett played a lot of minutes for us there. And then one of the guys that had some split time, started his first year and didn't end up starting later, was Alex Jones. We've had some other kids come on and compete for spots there, so we're still going to mess with the lineup. Don't know where we're going to end up going with that. And then our big man underneath, Conley Bowers, he had some starts there also. So two of those guys, even though we only had 3 returners, 2 of those guys are, experienced, got a lot of experience and time. So excited about that.
So when you come back from summer vacation, you see your boys show up in the gym, and he's shot up a couple of inches. It gets you kind of fired up, doesn't it?
It gets you real excited. Of course, then you look over and then you see a sophomore and you say, where did he come from? And Michael Robinson, he's one that grow a lot, and he's probably every bit of 6'3", and he's right up there standing eye to eye with, Bo and Tyler, and I'm thinking, well, this might work out pretty well. But him and among other kids, they're all grown. We don't have a great deal of size as far as just, big kids and that kind of thing. We got some length, we got some deceiving length, and that's always good to have. It's harder to throw over the top and helps you defensively get a lot of deflection. So that'll be good for us.
We're talking to head coach Lucas Honeycutt of the boys basketball team here at Elizabethton, getting ready for the big season. Coach, look across the Three Rivers Conference race, and who do you see is going to be some tough teams to handle this year?
Well, I think everyone's going to say South. They lost 2 kids off their team. They're going to have a lot of experience coming back. 2 big guys inside, a great, fast, quick point guard, and some good shooters to go along with it. So I think they'll be the overall favorite for everyone. But, I'd say that, Sullivan East is right there with them. I wouldn't even put them at second. I would put them right up there with them because they had a lot of youth last year, and that youth played really well for Coach Dyer last season. And they shoot it well and play well together, have a lot of energy. Really good, freshman point guard last year. He's going to be a sophomore this year. Expect big things from him. I think everybody in the conference thinks he's going to be one of the top players. So those 2 teams, I think those are standing at the top, and the rest of it, I'll have to see how it shakes out.
Shakes out. Of course, the conference and the regional this year is up on our end of the state, so we'll have both the district and the regional at Sullivan East High School this year at the end of the season. Coach, besides the conference teams, who are some of the non-conference or some of the tournaments you may be going to this year?
Well, there's always Hampton. We play Hampton every year. Hampton's had a good team, made a Final Four run last year. Got them coming back on the schedule. And then Science Hill, we got a big win over at their place last year, so that was good to see. First time we've played them home and away in a long time, so that's good. And we tried to bring Daniel Boone on for another home and away, but only ended up getting them for 1 game, but we play them in a Hall of Fame game too, so we ended up playing them twice. Going to the round ball in the Holiver at Science Hill. Going to play Farragut and Cumberland County. And then also we're going to 2 Christmas tournaments, 1 pre-Christmas tournament. We're scheduled to go to Ray County the 18th through the 20th, and then the 28th, 29th, and 30th will be in Corbin, Kentucky.
Wow.
And that's called the Cumberland Falls Invitational, I believe. So.
Yeah. You're pretty excited. You're jazzed up, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Ready
I like the travel and that kind of stuff, and it's always nice after summer camps to get back in there and get after it.
Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Head coach Lucas Honeycutt again, the boys basketball team here at Elizabethton. That's pretty exciting stuff, and we'll be tracking them all season long, talking to he and Coach Duggar, who's about to come join us next after this break. Also, the other winter sports here at Elizabethton, we'll be talking to those coaches. Of course, last week we had the cross-country coaches on and Mr. Elliott, the band director. So it's all about the student-athlete at Elizabethton, whether it's football, basketball, swimming, wrestling. We want to showcase these kids who work very, very hard and give them some, as they say in the business, some pub because they've earned it. Quick break. We'll come right back. A guy brought home the brass ring back to Northeast Tennessee. State championship coach Lynn Duggar joins us next in the huddle talking Elizabethton Cyclone sports.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Welcome back to In the Huddle, talking Elizabethton Cyclone sports. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. We're talking Coach Witten football, Coach Honeycutt boys basketball, and the young man who we're very pleased to talk to. He's giggling because I called him a young man, but he is. And he brought back not the brass ring, but the big gold ball, a state championship. Now, this is how it works for me. The rivalries are here, but when you go down to play down yonder against them, as I say, I'm for anybody bring something back to Northeast Tennessee because we don't get a lot of respect in Middle Tennessee. And so when we bring back that, in this case, that big gold ball, it's awful special. And Coach Duggar did that. And I know that was a special special time for you and certainly for those girls who worked their tails off to get that state championship.
Most definitely. You know, it was a tremendous group of kids that worked extremely hard. I've said and told a lot of people and said many times that, you know, this was for everyone. This was for East Tennessee and every school, every community. It was quite a feat. And, you know, you just have that dream all your coaching life, you know. And I think kids think about that and dream about it also. And we were just very fortunate and one of the chosen teams.
There you go. And one, it's almost like Normandale and Hoosiers. I love that movie. And again, you went down and battled the big teams and came back again with the state championship. Kind of step us through the championship game. Kind of go back and give us a quick snapshot of what happened there in the state championship game for you to bring home the championship.
Well, actually, I'd like to back up to the sub-state game. You know, we were playing CAK, who had a tremendous team, very well coached. A lot of talent. Atlee Hammaker's daughter, you know, plays on that team, and actually she's back. You know, we were going down to the wire at the end of the game, and my point guard gets hurt. And I bring Haley Burleson off the bench, who had to finish out the last 4 minutes of the game at point guard, and she did a tremendous job. But all the kids just pulled together. That was probably the game that I felt like that maybe separated us a little bit. And as we left to go to Murfreesboro, I told the kids, I said, why not us? You know, that sort of became a theme of ours. And when we got down there, I think the kids they really believed in themselves and each other. They really believed they were going to get that done. But, you know, our opening opponent was Livingston Academy, very well-coached team. A lot of tradition in the state tournament, and even have 3 or 4 state championships over the period of years, you know. And we started out the game very well, shooting the ball well, and that's a huge plus. And as Coach Van Ness would say, you got to shoot it well, you know.
Got to shoot it well.
But that was a big game for us. And then down the stretch, we were 10 for 10 from the free throw line in about the last 4 minutes. And, you know, that just sort of not only sealed the victory, but it was a little taste of destiny, I guess you might say. Then we played Westview in the semifinal game, and we have played them before. And actually, they knocked us out of the tournament a few years ago. We played them year before last in the quarterfinal and played really well against them. And we beat them and, of course, got beat in the semifinals. But after this Westview game, which was nip and tuck the last quarter, and we pulled it out, we were playing Knox Fulton, which we knew was a very, very athletic team, you know, had a big post player, and had been really successful, especially in the latter part of the season and during the tournaments. But, you know, we just said we're going to do what got us here, and we pressed, and a lot of people didn't think we should press them because of their quickness. But we forced 9 turnovers in about the first 10 minutes. And, you know, it was really sort of set the tone for us, gave us a boost of confidence. And probably the biggest thing was, for most part, we shot it well. And we had people coming off the bench and making contributions, you know, really all season long, but especially in that tournament. In my experience is going down there, it's hard to go down there with 5 or 6 people and play 3 days in a row and win. And I've always said over the years, watching teams, boys and girls, play down there, there seems to always be an unsung hero, someone that comes off the bench and really plays at a high level and gives your team a spark, a boost. And that happened in all 3 of the games at Murfreesboro last year.
Tony head coach Lynn Duggar again brought home the state championship of the girls again, the Elizabethton Lady Cyclones. Again, going back, Atlee Hammaker, by the way, was a former pitcher at East Tennessee State, went on to pitch for the San Francisco Giants in the big leagues, and so his daughter's the one coach is referring to. You've coached boys, you've coached now the girls. Is there a difference in coaching boys versus girls?
There is. There is. Of course, girls are going to be more emotional. Girls, if they, if they have a little spat, it's a little harder to clear that up, clean it up. Guys, will pop each other in the nose, and then after practice, they'll go out and get a hamburger together, But our girls are a very unique group. They're very committed, very dedicated, and they're very close to one another. They really pull for each other, and it's all about the team. And that's what's made it so special. But probably to answer your question, I really feel like the girls' game is a lot like boys' basketball used to be.
Bingo.
It's still about execution, fundamentals, and they want to be coached. They want to be told what to do. A lot of times the guys now, by the time they're a sophomore, they don't need a coach. ESPN's got them up there at a high level already, and they just like to go and play and do their thing. But there's a lot of good boys out there playing basketball throughout our area, especially Northeast Tennessee, and that work extremely hard. And there's a lot of girls out there now working extremely hard. Middle Tennessee had the upper hand because their kids were more committed and doing a lot of things during the off season, personal trainers with lifting weights and things like that. But we're catching up, in this area here also.
Coach Van Huss used to say, the late Buck Van Huss of Dobbins said girls basketball, even back then while he was still alive, was still pure basketball because they set screens, picks and rolls, still did, forget the highlights and the slams. So they're still playing basic basketball, and that's what Coach Duggar's alluding to, and I would agree. How many of the girls from last year's team are back this year for you?
Well, we have 9 kids back, and all 9 of those kids made contributions. We lost our point guard, and she was a very fierce competitor. She was our press offense too. Someone said the other day in practice, "Are we going to have to work on press offense now, aren't we?" Coach said, "Sarah isn't here." So, we used to just give it to Sarah and get out of her way, and get on down the floor. But losing your point guard in my system and in most coaches' systems is very tough because we delegate a lot of responsibility on both ends of the floor to that individual. But this girl was very special. She competed from the time the ball went up to the last horn sounded. And whatever you ask her to do defensively, she was willing to do that and beyond. She was very unselfish. It wasn't about the points. She just tried to get the ball to people that were in open situations. We're going to miss that, and we'll probably have to do that by committee for a while. Hopefully by January we'll settle in, and maybe committee might be the best thing all season long too.
Again, it's exciting times. Conference race getting ready to come up. Who do you feel like is going to be a tough team to handle in the conference?
Well, I want to say this about our conference. I think our conference has really gotten better over the last 3 to 5 years, and the coaches are working extremely hard. The players are working extremely hard. But I like Sullivan East has a nice team, and I think they're going to be very, very tough. Happy Valley, potentially, and they could be a very dangerous club also. Got 3 or 4 kids that are tremendous scorers, and, the kids there play hard and do things well, and I look for them. And, South's always going to be there. I think the kids at South they just come out competing all the time, and like I said last year about Coach Torrey, she did a tremendous job the latter part of the season, and and I'm sure she's much more comfortable now, this being her second season. But you got some other teams that you can't overlook. I think Unicoi is going to be a much, much improved team. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, my short time in girls basketball, but Unicoi, they sort of dominated in AA, and actually a few years ago, AA basketball was probably the toughest league in the state, until the Riverdales and the Blackmans and those people brought their programs up. But, I think Unicoi could be right there, and, they could beat any anyone on a given night.
Are you revved up, ready to go for this new season?
I'm revved up. I'm excited. I think I want to, I guess, slow down and enjoy it a little bit. That's hard for me to do. I'm very intense, stay in high gear all the time, and but I've got a very special group of kids that I just want to enjoy this year.
There you go. Looking forward to working with you.
Same here.
Yep. Head coach Lynn Duggar again from the state championship Lady Cyclone basketball team. And, of course, back for another run this year. That's going to do it. We do want to say thanks, and we'll be back next week with another show talking football. We'll see what else we can talk about Elizabethton sports. So until then, this is your host, Tom Taylor, reminding you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. So long, everybody.